So I guess I'm on the every 2 week schedule because it's 2 weeks past my last session. Before that, it was 2 weeks before that I had won my biggest cash game score ever. So I called in to the California Grand, and there's 16 people on the list. I called it in about an hour ago, so I'm on the list. If I get there and there's still like 10 people on the list, I'm probably just gonna come home. I don't want to sit there for an hour or two. I've done that before. It's super boring. But if I think I'm going to get in the game, I'm bringing some coffee and I'll drink it. Once I can confirm that I'm actually going to get in the game, I'll drink a little coffee. It's 7:30 at night. Had a great day today. Got a great workout. Had a cold during the week, but I feel like I'm on the mend. I'm going to just try to see if I can get in, play a couple hours, and get out of there. Get a nice little score, keep up with the upward trend of the cash games, and that's about it. So I'll check in. Hopefully I'll get a session in and I'll have a great video. Videos have been fun, and just keep it rolling. All right, later guys. What's going on, everyone? It is Sunday afternoon. I did get a game in last night at the California Grand. I played for about 2.5 hours. It was pretty uneventful. I was actually really tired, but I did drink a little coffee once I realized that I would be playing. And I mean, in 2.5 hours, I probably saw maybe 10 to 12 flops, and I won in probably half the hands I played. I was playing so tight. Everyone is so loose, but I feel like they just don't know how to play against a tight player who knows what he's doing, because I'm really the only one, based on how I was playing, I was the only one that could get away with stealing a hand. Everything else they just call all the way down, but they gave me a lot of respect for playing tight because I fold so many hands. So basically I have 4 hands to break down, and all of them, we never even went to river where I showed down. So some of them made it to the river, but I never showed my hand. I didn't show one hand the entire night. It's crazy, and I still came out a winner. So check out these 4 hands, and I will be back with you. All right, later. So all my hands in this session were pretty straightforward. I started with 800 like I normally do. I won a pot early on. I had ace jack, raised it up. Flop came jack high, I bet. Turn was a king, I bet again. River was another king, I bet again. This lady called me down. So that put me up 100. And then I flopped some flush draws, and a couple of them stayed in to try to make the flush, and I missed by the river, so I had to fold. So I was down 200 from my high point. Started this hand with 695. So I was in the small blind with jack 9 of clubs. So there was an early position raise to 30. Headphone guy called, he played with me the last session. He's the guy that I hit the flush on with the 10-8 of diamonds. So 4 people saw the flop. Flop was beautiful for me, 996. I flop trip, so I go for the check raise. I check. Headphone guy bets 15. I make it 30. The other 2 guys get out of the way. Headphone guy calls. Turn comes out, ace of hearts. I fire again. I'm not really scared of the flush, especially after he calls me. I don't put him on a flush at all. I know I have the best hand, so now I'm just trying to get value. River comes out, 2 of clubs. I fire again, and he folds. Take down a nice pot, don't have to show my hand. Alright, so at this point I'm back up over my starting stack. I'm sitting at 870. Get ace king of clubs. Pretty early position. There's a guy to my right that raises. Got Peppa Pig playing in the background. So I call the raise. Don't need to make it too big of a pot until I see what the cards are going to be on the flop. It's a great flop for me. Ace Jack 5 rainbow. It goes check, check, check to me. Easy bet with top pair, top kicker. Seat 1 folds. Seat 2 folds. Seat 4, the guy to my right calls. Turn comes out 8 of diamonds. He checks to me. I bet again. It's an easy bet, and he folds. And he said he had queens. So I take down a nice little pot. No showdown. Okay, so I've built it back up. I'm just about up 200, sitting at 975 in early position. Guy next to me limps in. I have king, queen of spades. I decide to raise it up to 30. The guy on the button, I literally hear him tell the guy next to him, oh, he has aces, because they know how tight I'm playing. I'm barely playing any hands, but I'll take king, queen suited any day playing this game against these players. So there's 3 calls to my raise. Flop comes queen 10-8 with 2 hearts. Checks to me. I bet 15, easy bet. And it goes fold, call, fold. 1 player to see the turn. A really aggressive player. Turn gives me trips, queen of diamonds. He checks, I bet, he calls. At this point, I know I have the best hand. And I just hope he's not on a flush draw. But the paired queen helps me. So if a king of hearts comes, that's 1 less out that he has if he's on a flush draw, because I would make a full house. So the river comes a king, gives me the full house. He checks to me, I bet, he folds. Another big pot, didn't have to showdown. I love it. Alright, so at this point, I am up 300, sitting just under 1100. This is the last hand I'm going to break down. I'm in the big blind. I got a beautiful hand, 7-8 of spades. I'm going to be in this hand against headphones guy again, who I took a pot off earlier when I flopped the trips and check raised him. So it folds around to him and the button, and every time he folds to him and he has good position, he always raised. So I'm not putting him on a huge hand. It's a position raise in my mind. So I flop a great draw. It's a big draw. I flop an open-ended straight draw and a flush draw. So I check to him. He bets 15. I check raise him because I can't really put him on much because he raises so much. So the more often someone's going to raise, especially in late position, you just can't give them credit for a hand every time. You just got to apply the pressure. And a check raise is a pretty strong play. And it's a good time to do that here because I don't have a made hand yet. So that way, if I can just keep the lead, a check raise looks like I could have like 2 pair, a set, top pair. So maybe I don't have to hit my spade or my straight to actually win the pot. So that's kind of why I check raised here, to show some strength. And I have the lead now, so I'm first to act. So I always like to have the lead when I'm when I'm out of position. So the turn comes a 7 of diamonds. So now I have a pair, an open-ended straight draw, and a flush draw. I lead out for 30, and he folds. 4th hand broken down. None of them made it to showdown. It's a really low-risk way to play poker. I didn't make too many hands throughout the session, so it's a nice little win, though. So that pretty much sums it up. I played for about 2.5 hours. I didn't have any hands that went to showdown, yet I still managed to pull off a win. After that last hand, I was up, I don't know, 375 maybe. I think that was my high point, was up 375. And then I did lose about 175 back, flopping flush draws, missing. You know, it's mostly I was just playing the blinds. And there'd be a raise, and I'm in for 3 chips, and they'd make it 6 chips, which is $30, and I'd have like king eight of clubs. So it's definitely too good of a hand to fold, especially when a bunch of people are calling. And then on that specific hand, I had king eight of clubs, flopped the flush draw, called down because I was getting great pot odds, and I lost. So just that. So if you call a raise, you're in for 30. Call the flop, that's 15. So now that's a total of 45. And then if he bets the turn, that's another 30. So that's $75, and then I fold the river. So just flopping a flush draw and calling down to see the river costs you 75 if you miss. So it can be pretty pricey. So I had a few hands like that, but overall I did fine. I was super tired. So one thing I've really give myself credit for this summer, after listening to the Elliott Rowe mindset coaching, and I have the Primed Mind app, is it's all about playing your best poker. And when you realize you're not playing your best poker, to just get up. So in the past, for many years, if I was down like 100, 200 in a session, I'd get desperate. I'd start playing extra hands I shouldn't be trying to get back. And then I end up losing twice as much, just not playing the right way. So I've learned, and it's really been paying off in my last sessions. If I'm tired, who cares if I only played for 2 hours? Let's just book the win, come back fresh the next time. You don't have to play for 5 hours. And because I don't play all the time, my endurance is not what it used to be years ago. So I feel like my peak is the first 1 to 2.5 hours, and then I noticeably fade off, or I'm starting to watch the TV. So when I get to that point, I just get up. So I'm really proud of that. I booked a $192 win. So I've played 1530 4 times now, and I've been a winner every time. So I won 60, I won 1,006, I won 448, and now I won 192. So I'm super proud. I just keep crushing these cash games, so I'm just going to keep it going. And maybe I'll see you in a couple weeks. All right. Have a good day, guys. Bye.